Running Sentences presents a short story, Checkout. Two checkout workers get into a discussion while waiting for the next customers to come by. This story vignette is a work of fiction, so any names, characters, businesses, events, and situations within the story are products of the author's imagination. Any resemblance to real people, characters, businesses, events, and/or situations, plus fictional situations, characters, businesses, events, and so on, is purely coincidental. This story was written and narrated by Michael Honnery. Copyright 2024, Michael Honnery, all rights reserved. Tyler stood at his cash register, staring off into the bleak abyss of a store that stood in front of him. It hadn't been a busy day. In fact, little to anything had happened during this shift, though he had just gotten on not too long ago. His co-worker, Coral, stood not far away, manning her register, and looking equally as blank as he did as the intercom system blared into life, shaking things up. Attention customers, there's a sale on items marked half off. Get them now, get them soon, as they will soon be gone. The noise made him look up and over to his associate. It was taking a look at the empty aisles that had no customers. Why do they bother with these announcements? Aren't they preset? He asked. If they are, can't they easily shut them off? Seems like a simple matter when there is no one here and the bosses can see that. I guess, right, but I don't know. What a useful associate I have, she said with a roll of her eyes. Shut up, as if you're any better. I am way better than you, Tyler. He shook his head and went back to staring at nothing ahead of him, and the ever-continuing wait for something to happen going on and on. Hey, do you think anyone would notice if we robbed this place? The only people who would notice or care would be our bosses. They would notice the moment we take a step to the side or the wrong direction without their permission, Tyler scornfully said. Coral made a disappointed sound with her mouth that came across like a click from her tongue. Of course. They're the only ones allowed to steal from the company, aren't they? Anyone else and they're up in arms about it. Exactly. We get what they want to give us and can't question it. The bell above the door rang, announcing that someone had come in. Both straightened up a little bit and looked over to see a mousy old woman, fixing her glasses and looking around.
Is this the convenience store?
No, miss. That would be the one next door.
Oh, thank you, young miss.
She shuffled out, and both go back to slacking off with nothing to do. Do you think one of us will get sent home early? It seems about right to do, since we're not doing anything, Coral asked. Maybe. The bosses hate wasting money on workers who aren't working, but if that is the case, then I expect I will be the one to be sent home, Tyler said all too gleefully. Why you? Well, I was here before you. I started my shift earlier. It only makes sense to send home the person who has been working the longer shift, whom earlier. No, it doesn't, she protested. Yes, it does. Explain. I've worked here longer than you, and I get seniority over your itty-bitty younger staff. I've been here since the morning, so I get to go home sooner. That's it. That's all there is to it, even though it is only the afternoon now, and if the bosses ever come out here to relieve us... A shudder shook the building, and they both glanced about the place, as well as behind them, but the windows looking out of the store were plastered with posters, providing no real sight as to what was going on out there. Everything looked and felt normal in here, though, so... What was that? How should I know? Probably an earthquake or something, Tyler? We don't get earthquakes here, Coral. Well, if the old people making choices get a say about ruining the world, then we probably get them now. Fuckers. Of course they'd cause those kind of problems. Where are the bosses? Tyler complained bitterly to himself at Coral's comment. I don't know. They're usually around here and bugging us to do this and that. It's strangely quiet, but I kind of like it, so I don't want to upset it, Coral said. I love it, but it is weird. You're right about that. They stand about for a minute more, waiting for some other interesting topic of conversation to come up. Tyler almost lapses into staring at the aisles again. You don't have a girlfriend or anyone like that, would you? No, why? Tyler responds. Just, you know. He looks over at her blankly, trying to piece together what she says. Coral is swirling a curl of her strawberry blonde hair, slightly dyed, around one of her fingers, a coy look with a cutesy grin playing across her face. For a moment, Tyler studies her, then asks, do I know? Oh, forget it. The idea was not a good one to begin with. I swear men and boys don't know what it is that's going on around them at all. Tyler pauses for a moment, thinking things over and trying to decide if it was or wasn't in his imagination that she was hitting on him. But it couldn't be, because she'd so recently been arguing with him, so that really put any wrench into the idea. Consider it forgotten like many other things. They stood about, continuing to wait for something else to happen. The quiet was interrupted as the speaker system came to life with some old song. It was a ditty, though, as both sort of started swaying to it and maybe singing a lyric here and there without really thinking about it. It usually isn't this quiet here, Coral complained. Yeah, you think something is up, Coral? I mean, probably. Maybe some great sale at another store so no one comes here. Either way, it's fine by me. I get paid and no one bothers me, aside from you. But if you get let go to go home early, then you won't get paid, Tyler countered. Shut up with your logic. It isn't helping matters. Merely pointing it out since you wanted to leave early and get away from this hellhole. Another rumble shakes the business, making things move about, but not fall from the shelves so that they don't have to move. Both, though, grasp at the counter to hold themselves steady as they wait for this moment to pass. Now what the fuck was that? No idea, Coral. You could go check it out, see what's going on the outside, see if the world's ending or something. And get yelled at by the bosses? No way. I can't afford to lose this job. You go check. No, I'm not going out there. With my luck, the world is ending or something. The bosses can deal with it. The two stay at their posts, waiting for something or anything to happen. If either had bothered to look out the door or go outside, they would have in fact seen the world ending. Bombs dropping, people endlessly running about to save themselves, and a giant mushroom cloud not far off in the distance. End of checkout. Thank you for listening.